afternoon. So my name is Zoltán Kun. I work for Lumina. We are in charge of the VP7, the communication dissemination part of the Trade for SD project, which is an EU-funded Horizon 2020 project. And I'm here with Sophia Davidova, and I'd like to ask you a few questions. The first question is if you can introduce yourself quickly, shortly, and also the organization that you work for, and what is the role that you play or your organization play in the Trade for SD project.
As you said, my name is Sophia Davidova, and I'm working for the University of Kent. I'm much more specialized in agriculture than in trade because my position is Professor of European Agricultural Policy. And I find this project really fascinating from the point of view of University of Kent, because we can interlink our knowledge, our experience of agriculture with trade and the food chain. Now, our university is responsible for Work Package 4, but not only this, we have a task in Work Package 5, and we have contribution in Work Package 1, so quite comprehensive contribution.
So there is a cross work between the various work packages, but you said you are the lead partner of the Work Package 4. Could you actually say a little bit more about the Work Package 4? What is the expected outcome of this work package?
So we know a lot about modeling, about quantitative results, but not always we know the context. We don't know the context in detail that influences not only the current situation, but can influence the situation in future. So the contribution of this work package is this context-specific information that can inform the modelers, that can inform our vision for the future of sustainable development all over the world. It's not only in developing countries, it's also in the EU.
So you explained the Work Package 4 and the role that, or the expected outcomes of Work Package 4, but I also know that you were involved in the design of the project, and we also know that some circumstances were not seen when we designed the project. One of them is, for instance, the COVID-19. Is there any lessons that you learned in the past 2 years which might mean that we could redesign a project like ours a little bit due to the COVID-19?
Okay, this project is not about now. We study what is now in order to think about the future. So it is a shock, obviously, which somehow implicated on the opinions that what is the most important now is the economic pillar. And that's why we have some different balance. Probably because of COVID, our stakeholders, the general public, do not think that environment is so important. But if you ask me directly whether I would say we should redesign the project, I would say no.
Okay, thank you. So I promised to have 3 questions. I might have actually 2 more, because I know you were in Ghana recently visiting with one of our partners, and Ghana is one of the case study area with the cocoa. And now you mentioned that COVID resulted that people started to prioritize somehow economic sustainability.
Yes.
Was this your experience also in Ghana? Was there any specialty that you learned in Ghana?
What we learned in Ghana is that farmers are really active and they think about whether they can earn enough for their everyday life, to put their children at school, to cover their basic needs. Now, these basic needs, of course, have been under danger or threat due to COVID. But now, none of them mentioned COVID. None of them mentioned COVID as the biggest issue. They are the biggest issues: water constraints, there were drinking water, there was health, there was education, but they did not mention COVID.
That's interesting. And I can't resist to ask my last question, because you said you are from University of Kent.
Yeah.
And we know that the UK is now not part of the European Union. So there is surely lessons learned in terms of Brexit and how this impacted, for instance, our own project. Could you actually share one lesson or one concern that you have, how we can interpret the result of the project to policymakers in the EU, but also to non-EU countries?
This is what we will try to do, and talk about policymakers in the UK, what we learn from this project, what sustainability is all over the world, is a universal issue, but we can't say this measure in the CAP is useful, that measure is not useful. We have to talk to them about the global consequences and how they will adjust the UK independent policy to these global issues.
So in a way, act locally but think globally.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Eat locally, think globally.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It was very
Thank
useful.
you. Thank you.